Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody in the poker world. This is my first video and I'm gonna take a look at the 5 biggest mistakes you can make in short deck poker. Let me invite you to an interesting course we're making on 6plusholdem.com. I'm now a poker player since close to 15 years and I was playing a lot of heads-up sit-and-goes, but I guess 2 years ago I switched to short deck poker. And there's a big reason, because the value is there and I'm there to make a lot of monies. And I think that's the reason why you're here for. So let me invite you to short deck poker. It's a game of 36 cards where the 2s, the 3s, the 4s and the 5s are removed. That's the reason why you call it short deck. It keeps the deck way more shorter than a usual deck from 2 to ace. And somebody called it 6 plus. I mean, it explains itself. There's something different also. You can make a straight from ace to 9 and the flush beats the full house. Yeah, there are less flush cards in the deck, and because of the bigger concentration of the cards, it means there are more 2 pairs and full houses possible. That's why it's rarely to make a flush. And also, they take the small and big blind away, which means they substitute it with an ante, as you can see right here. In this example, it's a 6-handed game, which is the max in this short deck, because there are less cards in the deck, so you have to make the game a little bit smaller, and in case you want to run the deck twice in all-in situations, it's a 6 max game. You can see here in the middle, it's hard to see maybe for you, but there's a small 6. It means every player in one hand paid already $1. Except of the button, he play an additional $1. So it means every round you play in this game, you're losing $7, which should be a $1 ante game. So it means there's a lot of money every hand and a lot to fight for. So there's no small and big blind, means the under the gun player, which is the red one left to the button, starting with the action, followed by the under the gun +1 player. And finally the button make the decision, which shows that the button has an absolute power in this game. So now we want to take a look at the first biggest mistake you can make this game. And that's the raising sizes. Usually a regular Holdem player raising 2 or 3x pre-flop. It depends on the game, if you have antes, if it's a live game with a lot of limping, but usually you don't raising 10x, which is something you might do in short deck poker. That's a big difference. In the following hand, I'm going to show you a hand I played yesterday where I can show you that the small raising sizes can give you a bunch of trouble. Let's get in. So here I'm showing you a hand I played yesterday in my live stream. And as you can see here, this defender guy was min raising and the other person was 3-betting to $5. And they give me extremely good price, and I just overcall with my hand. I played my hand under the gun, left to the button. And as you can see, I flopped trips, kind of lucky, of course. But if you have now high cards in the other shoes, maybe aces, kings, ace, queen, ace, king, whatever, you find yourself in a big trouble spot. And that's what you should avoid with raising way more bigger. In the shoes of Burak, I would suggest to raise at least 15 if you have a good hand. So I'm never able to call with my 8-10 suited. So we take a look at the result of the hand, just to show you. It was a really funny hand I had yesterday. And yeah, there's some action going on after I raised the bet of Burak. Defender goes all in and Burak also goes all in. And yeah, let's take a look what happens. I end up calling, I guess. Yeah, and there you can see the showdown. It's an ace queen and an ace king. Surprising somehow. This ace king is pretty dead with 5% and the defender has 18.5%. Yeah, at least even with this queen he have only, and there's another queen for him. Kind of unlucky for me, but that's how poker works. We go back from this action. Now coming to the next point, not to limp. That's a really important thing. People, as you can see in my example video, might min raise, might make small raises, but involve themselves in difficult spots. My suggestion is always not to raise. Limping is a good strategy in 6+ Holdem if you're new to the game. Even in early positions, it gives you a nice opportunity to get involved with marginal, even strong hands and avoid playing big pots where you can lose a lot of monies. Because of the anti-structure, the price is anyway always good to play with a bunch of hands. If you're new to the game, you might ask yourself what hands you should play. My suggestion is to check out 6plusholdem.com. They have a nice charts there you can buy for small money, and you might invest in your studies in the new game. That's my suggestion. Also, an interesting strategy is to limp raise. Some people limp with ace king under the gun. They wait for the raise and then they limp jam all in. That's a common strategy in short deck poker. Before we're heading to the next big mistake you can make in short deck poker, my suggestion for you is our Discord channel. You can chat with all the players we have and with the coaches, and for me as a streamer, you can see always when I'm online. To find our Discord channel, you just go to the homepage 6plusholdem.com. If you can look a little bit down, you can see the hand charts you can buy, help you a lot to improve your game. And here you can find our Discord channel. By clicking here, you'll be directly invited. One of the biggest mistakes people usually with a Holdem background coming to short deck poker make is overplaying their top pairs. In Texas Holdem, you might go broke with an ace jack on a jack 8 6, for example. But in short deck poker, you should be really careful because the equities are really close. There's a simple rule made for the people: don't move all in with top pair, and usually don't bet for value on the river anymore. As soon, my suggestion, there's a pairing on the river, there's maybe a possibility to bet your top pair. But please be careful with the run out of the board. It's so much more straighty in this game because the concentration of the cards is way more bigger. You know, when you play from 6 to ace, it's so more likely you flop a straight draw, a pair, a pair and a straight draw hand, a 2 pair, something like this. So that's why it's so difficult to play these top pairs and even over pairs. Of course, over pairs have a different power, but this part is specially for the top pairs. So, heading to the next one. And that's of course what I'm talking about in the previous topics, the equities. They are way more different than in Holdem, and you will be surprised how much close they are. As you can see here, usually in Texas Holdem, an aces versus jack 10, we can put in also a 10s or 9s or 8s, whatever, is usually a 80-20. Or here, in this case, 82-18, but something in this neighborhood. But look at the 6 plus on the left side in green, you can see an ace versus jack 10 is already a 65-35. It's getting pretty close. But now it's getting interesting, folks. Be prepared and fasten your seatbelts. Ace king versus 10-9 is a close to be a natural flip. And that's really surprising. And that shows the powerful of these suited connector hands. And that's why when we go back in the topics, where we're talking about how to raise and how much to raise, and that you have to be careful with raising and 3-betting, it shows that, yeah, an ace king versus a 10-9, if you just go all in straight away and let the right 5 cards run out, it's a clear flip. And that's really surprising compared to Texas Holdem. It's like a 63-37, which we write down like this. But we have to go a little bit further because it will get more interesting. Because if I tell you that king-king versus ace-king is a flip, basically, it's a flip. That's really surprising for a lot of people, I guess. Having ace-king versus ace-queen in short deck, it's one of the good spots to get in your money pre-flop. Yeah, and now we're heading for some nice, interesting example hands. Here you can see the classic one, you flop the nizzles, queen jack on a 10, 9, 8, which is a beautiful one. You have the nuts, and Texas Holdem is just beautiful to get it in like this. Mostly you will in the pot, unless you run in the set. The set have a nice chance to win against you with a full house. In Texas Holdem, you have 34% with the set, but at least you're still a nice favorite with your nuts. But look at this in 6 plus. The set at 51%. It's a slight favorite. Can you believe this? So even you have the nuts, somebody have a set, you're like a minimum underdog of 1%. How can this be? How crazy this game is. Be careful when you play this game. It's a lot of gamble inside. Heading to the next picture. And there you can see it's a top pair and it's a bottom 2 pair. Usually in Texas Holdem, you want to get the money in. You hope somebody have just a single 10 or over pair. and pays you off and you get the money. But in short deck, I think you should be careful. Look at this, 55.5% with your bottom 2 pair. That's not really much. It's close to be a flip. And as you can see here, the straight draw is really powerful. Having an ace 7-8 and you have the 10-9 with the runner flush draw, you have 53.5% to win the hand. So you're a favorite in this hand. So basically there's a base rule to understand. If you have an open-ender and none of your straight 2 pair cards are blocked, you're a favorite in short deck poker. So straight draws become really powerful to just push all in on flops. So, and it's really hard for the ace king to play the hand. And that's when we come back to this topic when we talked about how to play top pairs. I mean, it's kind of safe flop, right? Ace 7-8, what can you beat? Can you be beat here? Maybe 10-9, 9-6, unlikely to play, but can be. So it shows exactly that you have to be careful with the top pairs. You might be dead already, but the other person can make nice pressure against you. So it's a dangerous game, guys. Heading to the next picture. And yeah, aces. Aces are usually usual nice hand to play. And even if the flop is 10-8-7, but in short deck, it's getting a little bit dangerous. I mean, there's so many hands beating you already. And this example hand want to show you that even with the gut shot and the runner flush draw and the runner 2 pair draw, you have already 34% against the pocket rockets. The best hand in poker. So be careful with short deck poker. And now the last point. And it's one of the biggest questions I get in my live streams. You can find me on YouTube, Katrin Saufen. And if you want, you can join me in my next live stream, put some nice comments on my video, and we can chat a little bit and interact. Would be nice for me. And the biggest questions I get in the streams is always about the bankroll management and the variance. Hey, Katrin, what was your biggest downswing, for example? And some different things like, how much bankroll you have? What would you suggest for me if I start with playing poker? And these questions are really common in my streams. And I'm a really conservative guy. And I would always suggest 300 buy-ins. But then maybe people get a little bit scared and say, oh my God, 300 buy-ins? If I want to play the 10-cent games, it's already $3K in dollars to have as a bankroll, which is pretty much. And maybe a lot of people don't want to afford so much money. But that's my personal advice. You can also go in a different way. A good bankroll management is something about 100 between 200 buy-ins, but I would always suggest a little bit more. Because the mental aspect of the game is really big. Handling big swings is a big part of the game, to the upside, but also to the downside. And if you're not able to handle big swings to the downside, I think you're not made for this game, I have to say. And I saw a lot of players having a lot of trouble handling these downswings. So to having a stable life and a good mental fitness and a good shape of your body to be prepared for the strong, heavy variance game is an important part. And because of the high variance in the game, these big swings are developing. As you can see, there are so many flips in this game and so many gambling spots where you maybe cannot do anything because the money goes in. That makes it really hard for amateurs to handle these swings. And there's also the possibility on PokerStars to run it twice to reduce the variance, which is a nice part, I think, and the possibility of the cash out. I don't want to explain here in the video, but we have a nice article we will put in the description. So guys, that's it for the video, but we have something special for you in the end. There's a small little quiz we make for you to make it a little bit fun and to get the discussion a little bit going. This is a close situation where Queen 10 Kings and 8-9 went all in on the flop on 6-8-9. And we want to know who is the favorite in this or on this flop. Who has the most equity? You should write the answer like player A, player B, or player C in the comments of this video. And then exactly 1 week later, when we will make the second part of our beginners series on YouTube, we will choose 3 players and gamblers, short deckers, whatever you want to call it, and they will win something. 2 players will win a nice starting hand shot free from 6plusholdem.com, and the first place will get half an hour with Katrin Saufen. Yeah, we can make a coaching together and I can explain you everything you want to know. And that's it for today. And I hope you guys like the video. I hope you give a thumbs up, you subscribe this channel, maybe subscribe my YouTube channel would be nice. I would appreciate it. Yeah, and I wish you a nice week. See you next week in the next video, and I hope you smash the like button and comment a lot. Bye bye, Katrin Saufen.